Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a Severe Weather Chasers update on the 3rd of February 2012. This is the PM update. We start by taking a quick look at the radar courtesy of Weather Zone for the state. We can see the convergence zone that we expected to occur has occurred, and it's occurred right over the top of Charters Towers, very well modelled, and pushing to the north here just to the west of Ingham and all the way up through Cairns. So this particular thing was extremely well modelled, and so kudos to all the models for picking up on that. We still have a very nice east-northeasterly feed here into Mackay, a bit of banding coming into the low. The low is very loose, it's not very well structured. It doesn't have much coming in from the south. It's got a lot of dry air it's about to enter into, and it's got 20 to 30 knots of vertical wind shear, so all things are not going well for this low. However, it is creating in and along the trough line. We are seeing southwest southeast convergence, and also a little bit of northeasterly coming in more so towards the central coast. So we are seeing a fair bit of rainfall occurring along it. We can see on the Bureau of Meteorology website that rain falls from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We've had excellent falls again over the central coast with Sunday's area of 50 plus millimetres, and you'd be unlucky not to have gotten 25 out of it through the day. Excellent falls just to the south of Townsville, and also in some of the Townsville suburbs are 25 to 50 mils. Most Townsville suburbs picking up 10 to 20 mils out of this, which is quite a good fall considering southwest southeast we don't tend to do that well. Plus we're looking at more overnight as well, and then we've got excellent falls again over the north tropical coast and tablelands, and those falls will increase as that convergence line continues to feed right into that region over the next few hours. So we could be looking at some significant rainfalls by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Luckily down here towards the south or central inland Queensland we have had rainfalls easing. We only have between 1 and sort of 10 or 15 mils in most places here. Thunderstorm activity has decreased as more stability is pushed in, and we really only have the upper trough at the moment that is creating the cloudy and drizzly conditions, as opposed to the flooding type rains that we've seen over the past few days. Nevertheless though, in our area we do have some flooding still in the Gulf rivers. We still have some flooding in western rivers, and we even have some fairly high river rises in the upper Burdekin catchment as well. So there's things that we need to watch over the next few days to see how those river levels continue to rise. If we go south towards southern inland Queensland, and oh my goodness, we have just basically a state of disaster in this region here. We've just got major river flooding throughout this entire area, so major inundation of most of southern inland Queensland. It's phenomenal. So for those people that are interested more in that, because we don't cover that, please look up Higgins Storm Chasing Group, and they also have now got a Facebook page that deals specifically with weather events, the flooding event of southern inland Queensland. There are also other Facebook groups. All you have to do basically is a Google search or a Facebook search for anything that's flooding related down there. Don't forget also the Queensland Police Service has a Facebook social media site as well, which you can always have a look at, and that'll explain in more detail what's going on there. But Higgins Storm Chasing is a very valuable resource for that, and then go into their offshoot, which is the flooding website. Of interest to most of our local viewers would be the flood warning for Alpha Creek and the Balyando River, and that's in parts of the Burdekin catchment. So we've got the Balyando River catchment overnight. Major flood levels are occurring at Rivington. Major flood levels are expected to reach 8.5 metres at Alpha this evening, and so we've got basically this is all feeds into the Burdekin River, by the way, so eventually we'll see river rises at the Burdekin, or at least the Burdekin Dam sort of thing. So it is something we need to watch at the moment, because it isn't widespread as it is down south. It's not so much of an issue for the Burdekin River. However, it is an issue for people that live along these catchment areas of Alpha Creek and Balyando River. It's time to take a look at our 3 hourly by 3 hourly forecasts for rainfall and general instability. We see this region just to the south or to the west of Charters Towers. It's probably being a little over modelled, and it should be a little bit further east, and the line should basically go up this way as to the amount of rainfall expected. But we basically have rainfall just to the north, all the way to the north of Cairns, with this low off the coast. Friday at 7 p.m. This is between 7 and 10 p.m. We see that low push further offshore. We see still a very decent feed here at in the Central Coast and with Sundays with falls of over 20 to 30 mils over the 3-hour period. We continue to see good rainfall here over Charters Towers and northwards towards west of Townsville, and we also see rainfall encroaching on the coast near Townsville. And we see some lighter falls all the way through to west of Cairns. Saturday 1 a.m. we continue to see some very heavy rain pushing into the Townsville area, and also to all the way to the west of the Whitsunday Islands and all through the Burdekin, as well as the southeastern northern Goldfields, Upper Flinders, and then pushing north through to just west of Ingham. And we start to see an easing of rainfall over the Cairns area to very light to almost fine conditions by 1 a.m. At 4 a.m. we see some extremely heavy rain just to the south of Townsville. If we just zoom in slightly on that, we can see that the heaviest rain here of over 30 millimeters in that 3 hours occurs well to the south, well to the south of Mount Elliot. So Mount Elliot would be around here, so this would be south of Mount Elliot, and we see that generally very heavy rain or heavy rain extends all the way through the city as well, and captures some of those western suburbs that unfortunately missed out today. But we can see all the way through the Flinders Highway. Basically, we've got some moderate to heavy rainfall overnight tonight. 4 to 7 a.m. we see some very heavy rain, probably getting a little closer to Townsville now, a little bit on even the Kelso region, and possibly just to the south of that. So we're still looking at just generally a very heavy rain band pushing into this low from the southwest. So it'll be interesting to see how much convergence we get into this as to how intense it gets overnight. So looking at some fairly intense rainfall overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning. So we will have another update tomorrow morning that deals with this in a bit more detail, because we might get it right in the thick of things at about 6 a.m. tomorrow. We see rainfall generally easing further west, but all the way out to Charters Towers still looks reasonably active. Definitely easing to the north of Cairns now as they get into a bit more of a dry and more stable environment. Between 7 and 10 a.m. We do start to see rain once again push northwards, so not quite, or just touching sort of the Cairns area, but pushing north into the Herbert. And still continued heavy falls over the Townsville area, but starting to push northwards and starting to get a clearance here over the Central Coast with Sundays and the Burdekin area. Still looking at some reasonable extension of that rainfall inland of about 30 or 40 kilometres inland, so not completely coastal. By 1 p.m, between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m, we continue to see heavy rain here on the coastline. We see this low is now well out to the east of Townsville. We're talking over 500 or 600 kilometres to the east of Townsville, and we're looking at just general showers and storms possibly redeveloping, or mostly shower activity redeveloping tomorrow at 1 p.m. By 4 p.m. we have another little low developing just to the east of Cairns. Don't worry too much about it. It's not a big drama, but what it does do is it causes an increase in convergence, and once again that convergence smacks the coastline right around Cardwell between sort of Ingham and Innisfail. Looks to be fairly wet in that period. Further south we get more of an offshore stream, so much less chance of rainfall Townsville southwards, but still chance for some showers, and still isolated showers developing inland as that trough system continues in the surface. However, it loses the upper level support. Saturday 4 till 7 p.m. we continue. We've lost track of that little weak low that developed, but we still have an enhanced convergence area here. This is probably alongside the monsoon trough, which starts to drift back to the north, and our tropical low continues out to the east-southeast here and creating some fine conditions to its west. And by Saturday 10 p.m, this will be our last one, so 7 till 10 p.m, we do start to see a fair bit of clearance and stability pushing into the region. We're only left with showers in the North Tropical Coast and parts of the Herbert Coast, as well as some isolated convective showers inland, but they'll start to wane by this time tomorrow night. So, just zooming into the Townsville area a little more at the moment, just because we are expecting some moderate to heavy or possibly even heavy falls in this area overnight. Why is this happening? Well, basically we see here where my cursor, you need to follow along with my cursor here, otherwise you're going to get caught up and you're not going to know what I'm talking about. But basically we're seeing southeasterly winds here at the surface, right? And you can see by the wind barbs, these are southeasterlies. Now they're converging, and they're having to converge to get into the low, which is right at the top where my cursor is now. So they're going to have to come together. Those winds have to come together. Now, at the same place, just over the top of Townsville and pushing south towards the towers, we've got a trough line. It's very weak, but what we have is we have southeasterlies or very light northeasterlies pushing into this area of very little wind, which is the trough. And then west of that we have southwesterlies at 10 to 15 knots. Now those winds are all coming together along this trough line, and you can see it on radar when we showed it to you at the start, where there's just one big trough line, except the trough line on radar shows that it's more aligned this way as opposed to the way this model suggests it will be. Now, as we progress through the night, let's have a look at what happens. We continue to see these southeasterlies, and we see this convergence now really centering right along Townsville, just to the south of Townsville, right in here, where we've got southeast, southwest, all converging and gaining some strength too. 20 knots, 15 knots, 20 knots. Okay, so we've got a little bit of increase in strength of that convergent air mass. And then we've got 15 knots southwesterlies, 25 knots coming into the system from here, from the north. So we start to see some real convergence in here of those wind fields. And if we go to 4 a.m., we've still got 20 knots from the southwest, but we've also got 15 knots from the southeast, and they're all coming together, and it's all happening in through here. Maybe a little bit starting to push a little bit offshore or a little bit further north. And then at 7 a.m., still looking at that convergent southerly, southwesterly trough line in through here, and still 20 to 25 knots. So we're still looking at a reasonable convergence area all the way through till tomorrow 10 a.m. even. We've still got it there. And by 1 p.m., things start to ease again. We're back to 5 knots, we're back to 10 knots, and it all goes offshore as the low pushes well to the east. So that's why, and if you notice here, we've got a bit more convergence north of us, and that's why it all sort of starts to push northwards towards the Cairns area, or towards the Herbert and southern North Tropical Coast area by around lunchtime. And we also see it all that shower and storm activity easing off inland as well, as we lose that convergent air masses over that trough line. So very interesting situation over the next 12 hours. So we'll have another update for you between 6 and 7 in the morning tomorrow. Thanks for watching tonight. Good luck with hopefully getting some rain, and I'll talk to you in the morning. Thank you.